Good evening. How are you all doing? I'm going to name this video Time is Filled with Swift Transitions. A lot has occurred since the last video I did for you guys. Um, Something pretty big is happening right now. I can tell you that. Um, I know where I started. I start with this. If you're from the South, especially if you're Geechee or you Gullah or you a Bahamian, you know that when you get a visit, you know what that means. And so I'll explain to you what a visit means. Within my culture, when you get a visit, that is when a deceased relative comes to visit you within a dream. When they come to visit you within the dream, they provide you with information, or number two, they will have a request. Typically, the visit will always be from someone you are directly connected to. Usually, it's a relative. It's not going to be some random person. It's going to be a relative or a very close friend who has, passed on. And so last Wednesday, stop before I forget that. Whenever you get a visit, you are to pay very close attention to what is being communicated to you during that visit. So I'm going to share one of my experiences, not the recent one I had on Wednesday, but I'll share with you a visit I had so you can understand how they go. It was a Friday. I was home. I went to sleep. The kids and I were home because at that time my husband was away for work. And I had this dream that I was speaking with, well, she was my favorite aunt. She was more of a grandmother to me than she was an aunt. And so when she visited me, she and I, we were having this conversation, and she was just telling me how much she loves me, how proud of me she was. And she also gave me a specific instruction to carry out. Well, before I woke up, she said, he's going to be knocking on the door in a few moments to give you the news. And sure enough, I woke up to my brother knocking on my door to let me know that she had transitioned. So she had visited me, even though she had transitioned, and I didn't know she paid me a visit. I will give you another scenario. And this one, she isn't blood related to me, but she was at that time, she would have been considered my grandmother in law at that time. So I had this dream that there was this long, I mean, very, very long hallway with doors, on both sides of it. But beside this particular door, I saw this tall, um, almost like darkened figure. He had like he had a bull head. Yeah, he had a bull head. To me, he looked like a minotaur, okay? And he was very broad, very bulky, very muscular, and he had this very wide, thick sword in his hand, but the sword was pointed downward, and he had both of his hands on the handle of it. And he was just standing there like he was standing guard. And so I was opening these different doors, and this lady who was my grandmother-in-law at the time, she came and she said, "Going this one." So when I went into the door, I could see her living room, and I saw folding chairs all throughout the living room. People were dressed in black. They were crying. They were really distraught. And I'm walking around them, but they can't see me, but I can see them. And I started asking, "Who died? Who died?" And she said, "I'm gone now, but I need for you to be there for him. She was talking about my ex-husband because in that room, he wasn't in the room with them grieving. He was by himself. He was somewhere else. So he wasn't able to be there when she transitioned. Well, anyway, that particular visit, I woke up to my phone ringing. My phone woke me up out of that dream. And it was a relative. My mother-in-law was giving me a call to let me know that the grandmother had actually passed away. So these visits happen quite frequently, and I've never had a visit that was inaccurate ever. I've never known anyone who had a visit and it was inaccurate. Every single time it is the most rawest level of truth you can get, if that makes sense. There's no way for you to know these things outside of you getting a visit. Okay. So last Wednesday I did get a visit, and um I I'm not going to discuss the visit right now, but I did get a visit, and it was um, there were instructions for me to, number one, uh, prepare myself. Number two, it won't be much longer. So I have been uh, with my dad. Been with my dad, um, and we are in the process of preparing at this time as a family. This has been tremendously difficult. I feel like it's a repeat of everything I experienced with my mom, literally, literally everything I experienced with my mom. This is a tremendously stressful time for me, as you can imagine. You know, um, this is my dad. It, nothing more need to be said. That's my dad, and I I'm tremendously stressed right now. And the reason why I did this video is really because I want to have a conversation with you about something I want you to consider and encourage you to do with your own family. Okay. And I'm just telling you from the position of what I'm dealing with right now and also what I dealt with for my mom. So a lot of times if you know the person in your family that everyone pretty much lean on when things get really bad or something serious going on, you have that relative that everyone kind of leans on. And I think sometimes the families forget that that person are also grieving, they are also hurting, they are also trying to navigate this at the same time. And we the person who ended up being the person leaned on, they didn't choose to that role. Okay. It was something identified about them or within them that tells subconsciously cues to the relatives that that's the person. Um, and it's so normal. People don't think any other way. So what I'm suggesting to you is offer, not just offer, be proactive to pick up some of the responsibilities, some of the weight of everything, because it's a lot. It's a lot. Um, what I'm getting to is this. With my mom, everything was on me. Not even my dad. He kind of, well, he didn't kind of, he literally, put it in my hands and literally said, "You figure it out. You do it. You deal with it." And that was shocking because that's my dad. You're supposed to do this for your wife or whatever, or so I thought. Um, and I had to assume all of it. And I'm trying to explain it the best way that I can to help people understand the gravity of that weight. I was given responsibility of all of it. Um, from leaving, going right to the airport, being with her, never leaving her at the hospital by herself, um, being in medical transport with her when we took her back home for hospice, being with her, all the way up literally to her very last breath, being, the one to coordinate everything to get the body flown out, coordinate the funeral, coordinate every bit of it was on me, all of it, right? And for years, I felt so much guilt because I kept replaying every minute of it to make sure I made the right decisions. And that sounds weird, but it's true because that's a lot of responsibility. And everything you decide isn't necessarily going to always be right. And when it comes to your parent, you want things to be right and done decent and in order, right? And I'm in that same situation now. I have been at the hospital now for several days. I am just now getting back to my house. Okay, this is the first time I've slept in my house in a minute. Okay. Um, and that that responsibility is on me again. And it's tough because I don't get the privilege to really grieve and mourn the way I would like to. I don't have that because I'm the person. There was a situation. When was that? That was my days are all mixed up. I'm sorry, guys. So one particular day, one of the siblings did come in town, and I was so angry because he refused to, come up or come in and just sit there by himself, and be with dad. So, let me run, go eat, shower, something. You get what I'm saying? But it wasn't until a couple days later he, explained it to me why he couldn't handle it, being there by himself. Um, because he didn't expect this. He did. I'm gonna show you how powerful God is. He is awesome. He is awesome. He is worthy to be praised and worshiped and adored. Um, so this particular sibling, he got a feeling, he got a thought, and out of the blue, no prior preparation, no call, no text, nothing, smoke signals or anything telling him to go home, nothing, right? And neither of us had any reason to believe anything was wrong with our dad. And do you know, he just out on a whim drove over 8 hours all the way to dad. When he got there, he was only 3 minutes short of when he was admitted. You see that? God is awesome. He is worthy to be praised, honored, and adored, and exalted above all things, all beings, all situations. You understand? And it is giving me chills even thinking about it. Just how detail oriented and majestic the God I serve is, and who He is. That He loves us enough that He be moving us around. And we don't even know why. We just go with it. We just go go with it. But God knew He needed to be home. He also knew I needed to be home. Memorial Day weekend, I had decided last minute I was going to do Thunder Road in honor of those who lost their lives in combat. So Thunder Road, where Thunder Road starts at, it isn't very far from where my dad is at all. It really isn't. Okay. So I was already there preparing to get ready to do Thunder Road. It's just how God moved it. I had no intention of doing anything on Thunder Road because I didn't want to ride my Spider anymore because it was a matching set. Last minute, I changed my mind. I ride it. You know what I'm saying? And in reality, God knew I needed to be home because something was going on with dad. But um, when it comes to your loved ones, you just they don't know what to ask for in those times. I can honest to goodness tell you, I don't know what I need until I know I need it. I'm just in it. I'm just in a different headspace right now. And I'm telling you, your loved ones, everybody go to, everybody push on, everybody lean on. They don't know what to ask for. They don't. They really don't. They don't know what they need. They don't know what it really looked like for people to show up for them in the capacity that they show up for everyone else. And within the Black Southern family, it is frequently the women who are given that charge, that responsibility as the matriarch of the family. And it's not just a title, you are operating in emotion, but at the same time, it's at the expense of suppressing your own grief process so that you can help everyone else get through the initial brunt of it. So I'm just saying all of this for a reason that please do not just step back and wait for somebody to call you, text you, and tell you what to do. Come in town a day early. Just something that simple can make a world of a difference. Come in town a day early. That way, certain things that need to be taken care of, you're in town, you could be tasked those things and help. It would make a huge difference, right? Another thing, be the buffer zone. Even at the repast, at the wake, at the funeral, be the buffer zone. What I mean by that is you already know your relative well enough to know it is not wise for everyone to be in their face while they're feeling like this. What I mean by being the buffer zone, be the person shaking hands and thanking them for coming. You understand? Be the one to express how much it means to the family and they appreciate it a great deal. Get that through, and then your relative just give the hugs and God bless you because that's the absolute most they can handle the day of that darn service. Yeah, I'm serious. I'm telling you all this from experience. You're in a fog, you're in a haze, you're in a daze, you are in shock. Okay. You're physically present, but you're not present. And so being a buffer zone would be a tremendous blessing to them. They're not going to eat right. You get what I'm saying? So go get some boost, ensure, um, keep a bag of candy, stuff like that, because their blood sugar is going to be low just from the madness of it. They're sleep deprived as well. You get what I'm saying? Make sure you make a little bag. They ain't gotta ask you for it with some flat shoes in it, some house shoes in it, a change of clothes if needed. Um, anything you think would actually help them get through the actual day of the service would make a tremendous difference and would be greatly appreciated. Um, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. It's painful. That's why it's so painful because that's why it's so difficult, excuse me, because it's very painful. I am not ready to let my dad go. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I'm just not. I'm just not. Um, what's keeping me afloat right now, to be honest with you all, it is my brain being in that place in that space of something I started years ago during my initial sermon. It was a prayer that I have prayed ever since, and that is for me to sit while God stands, while the Holy Spirit stands, Christ stands. And I internally, I feel like I'm just sitting on a milk crate and I'm watching him use this little mortal body to get done what need to be done. I'm not checked out. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm allowing the power of God to carry me through this because that's the only thing that's going to carry me. Uh, fulfilling the promise of giving me peace that surpasses all understanding. Um, I've had to rely on Him like this before, and I'm relying on Him like that right now. Right now. Um, when I'm in servant mode, I view it the same way. Everybody else sit down. You're just like a waiter, a servant. You take care of the needs of everyone else. And the only way that happens is if it's done through the power of the Holy Spirit, because my strength, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, mortal brain cannot do it on its own right now. Um, it's it's a lot. It's a lot. I have a few girlfriends because I go back tomorrow. I only came back real quick, so that I can grab a few things and stuff, because I've been buying clothes and everything day by day, because I literally just, you get what I'm saying? It was all 100% all in right now for my dad and my family. Um, this is tough, when you're having to wrap your mind around both of your parents are gone and you're alone, meaning you would never have them with you again, you know. Um, no more phone calls, no more pop-up visits, no more long talks, no more profound words of wisdom. And that's hard. That's hard. But I'm not going to make you no promises that I'll be checking back in or looping back in, because I can't say that. I go back tomorrow, only resting right now, grabbing a few things. I do have some girlfriends and, different relatives who have been helping with different things and putting things in order and things like that. But, as far as certain things, I need space. When stuff like this happen, I kind of prefer to be alone, not completely alone, but I need a space to stay in that everyone will not be coming in and out, like they are at the cousins, uncles, and aunts' houses, and all these people constantly in and out. I needed a place that is specifically for me to be able to quiet myself. And I have that now in my house, but when I go back, I had to ask them to arrange for me to have that, to be somewhere all of these people will not be at, and that is where I will be at by myself. I tell you, time is filled with swift transitions, you know? Mm. No, I'm not ready for this shit. I promise you. Even though, she did give me heads up to prepare myself, and it won't be much longer. And she was right. She was right. I don't know where to stop at. I don't even know how to end this. So I'm gonna just stop right here.